That's not a good sign. Did you not hear
It's
that?
the Jim and Terry Show. Yes, we're still in the hobbit hole. Yes, we're still decompressing. The coffee has sort of wound us up. It's increased our blood pressure. We're ready to rumble.
I'm here now. I'm here.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about, one of the arguments that Jim has heard from people in his circle is that the people who support Trump think that he's a great businessman.
Yeah, and I really...
And let's start with that, and then we'll get into the spiritual part and interesting stuff.
I don't... Okay, listen. Even if he's and he is profit to himself, that you can't argue that. He makes millions. He's actually selling things as the president of the United States.
Yes.
Going into his pocket.
He's the president, but he's selling stuff. He's got a grift.
His ethics is right out the window.
Got none.
So even if he was a successful person, but if you're that successful person by putting the screws to everybody else in your life, and we know just about everybody that enters into his sphere goes into ruin. I think Musk might be safe because he's got $400 billion. But what he does is he starts businesses and stuff, gets some profit, hasn't paid his contractors. If he's going to keep that business, he'll then offer the contractors a tenth of what they actually put into it, so they go bankrupt.
That makes him smart. Do you remember that?
He'll then go bankrupt after he's taken whatever profit that casino, let's say for the first 2 years, it's bringing in millions and millions of dollars. And as it starts dropping, and then what he'll do is he'll pull out at that loss, at that gain, and leave everybody else to pick up the pieces, which they all go bankrupt or really get hit hard for. Workers get unemployed, and he just keeps claiming bankruptcy. This is his way of business. So he's going to do the same thing with America. He's running it like a business. In other words, it doesn't matter what happens to the people or even the nation, as long as he has the profit at the end of it. That's why the oligarchs are jumping on board too, because it doesn't matter what happens to America.
No, because when the rest of America burns,
as long as they get to keep theirs. Because I'm going to tell you flat out, most oligarchs couldn't care less about that country, couldn't even care less about the leader. They're in it for the profit, a sickness.
Are you talking about the oligarchs in Russia or the oligarchs, the tech guys, tech bros in the United States?
Well, the oligarchs...
The Musks, Bezos, and...
A lot of the oligarchs in Russia would be the same in America as long as the leader's alive. Because when the leader's alive, you see, he's now got all the lawmakers in his hand. So all of a sudden they say to someone like Elon Musk, oh, you think you got $400 billion? No, I'll let you keep $25 billion. I'll let you look after my other $375 billion. But don't you dare get out of line. That is mine.
I'm going to connect a dot for you. The $5 million gold card for...
the green card. $5 million gold green card.
Gold green card. I'm going to suggest that it's a way of laundering Russian money, and that the Russian oligarchs are the ones, and their family, their kids and grandkids are all going to take out these gold cards.
They asked Trump. They said, do you think maybe the Russians will buy some of these gold green cards?
Of course.
And he said, well, oligarchs, they actually said oligarchs. And he goes, some oligarchs are really, really nice people. In other words, yes.
Yes.
In other words, yes. Yeah. So what they're going to do is, I think the big plan is to infiltrate everything with wealthy oligarchs that control all businesses. Remember, even the Bible, he'll cause you to have a mark on your forehead or your hand. You won't be able to buy or sell without his say.
Oh, mark on the hand. Did you see during the Macron interview in the Oval Office that his hand was discolored? The mark of the beast.
It was bruised, yes.
It was bruised. Well,
how he got that? Slap it around? No.
Oh, yeah, I think it's from injecting. It's an injection site. Anyway.
It very well could have been.
Okay, so we began this...
I don't mean illegal drugs, but drugs to keep them moving.
Yes. We've seen a lot of things that are causing me to be concerned about the wellness of people who I would have associated, who you still associate with when we use the label Christians. And we're talking about them in the United States. We're talking about the Kenneth Copelands and Patricia Whites and all the rest who espouse a brand of spirituality that I have long, you are still suspicious of yourself, which is prosperity and the good news do not go together.
No, I'd even go so far, and I'm sure a lot of people would think I'm a traitor. But I was thinking about this. Like our little church had to actually do an audit and tell the government how much we're bringing in. That way, it's easy for them. If it's over, let's say $250,000, then it's a different category and taxed. That's what's happening in Canada.
Really? So now the church is being taxed as capital gains over 250.
I don't know how that's working, but we had to do it. What merits what kind of charity you are. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I like that idea because I think if you take even the mega churches, I'm not saying taking it away, but where's the money going? And if it's a lot of it's going to the owners, then there's a certain level where
Kenneth Copeland's jets.
where his 3 jets, taxes then got to kick in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's only fair. If it's going to charity, the books should show it and show it cleaning, and you should be able to follow that up. If it's going to Salvation Army, going to aid for Ukraine, wherever that money's going, you should be able to monitor that. And I do believe we're at that place in life now that, yes, even the church has to agree, look, we pay our pastor this much money. We do this with our money. This is what we're doing with what we... Yeah, expenses aside, sure, we need X amount of money to keep the lights on, all that, taxes, property taxes, whatever has to be paid. And then after that, where's the rest of the money going? If it's a charity, it's got to be going to
It's running the church as a business that has long been a thorn in the spiritual side of people who really want to practice their faith.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't like that either, and I'm a Christian. I don't want it to be a business.
So let's look at Trump and his practice of spirituality, because he's been blessed by both Patricia White and Kenneth Copeland, and they prayed to have the 2020 election results overturned, and they wanted to strike and strike and strike and strike and blow and laugh the election results away. Yeah. Is this traditional spiritual practices?
No, I was just doing a Bible study yesterday with some people, and I was pointing out again about let your gentleness be known. That's a big thing with me. Let your gentleness be known. I got to remember it because sometimes I get wound up. But let your gentleness be known. These yelling, screaming, powerful, want other people, to jump at their bark and be afraid of them. That's not the Christianity I see in Jesus Christ. They're saying, let your gentleness be known in all circumstances. People should recognize you for that kind of thing, not because you're overpowering, and definitely not because you're rich.
How about the fruit of the Spirit? Let's start with that. And can we all agree that those are good things for everybody? Yeah. Well, then which one of these do Trump uphold?
Well, I can't see any.
None. Zero.
Well, that's my point. Oh, now you're judging. Yes, you can judge all things. It doesn't mean you look and you say, okay, here's someone that just erected a giant in AI, but nevertheless, his vision of Gaza is a great big gold statue of him. Folks, does it not remind you of something? It reminds you of the golden calf. Me, it reminds me of the Nebuchadnezzar erecting the 90-foot, and the priest saying, "Oh, if you don't bow down to this gold statue, you got to be killed." Yeah. And they're who, as a Christian follower of Jesus Christ, who didn't have a place to lay his head, who on earth would erect
a statue to himself?
Even as an imaginations, a statue to himself.
Well, I told you
throwing money into the air.
I told you Michael Jackson's statue going down the Thames River. I'll have to show you that video so that you can recall that. That's the same vintage when he dangled one of his kids over the balcony's edge.
Wacko.
Yes. So, the wacko people do this kind of stuff. Wacko or Waco, because they do that same kind of stuff. David Koresh thought he was Jesus.
But the same thing happens.
Yes.
What happens is the same as with a rock star like Michael Jackson or a president like Trump. He's only going to put around him the people that are going to just say, you're great. You are so wonderful. Kisses, but nobody's going to say, you know what, Mr. President, you're a bloody jerk. That is the jerkiest. Killing all those people with denying them that aid that is rotting in a warehouse instead of giving it to people. There's something real cruel about that. Nobody's going to say that to him.
Yes.
Not even the stupid coward media now that he's pre-selected to be in
So when you've got to have your cheering from your pre-selected media, they're your cheerleaders. They are not your critics. And the whole First Amendment depends on people being critical.
What Lawrence
you're right.
O'Donnell
MSNBC still has one or two good ones.
Lawrence said it right. He said, when you've got the media only interested in their question being heard,
Yep.
not the answer, you've got a major problem. And that's what's going on, because every question, and this is what Lawrence said, every question, because Trump's bragging about what, 1,000, I've answered 1,000 questions, and Biden only answered 35 in his first 30 days, something like that. But Lawrence said, you're not answering any questions.
No.
If you're lying in every one of those questions,
That's right.
You're not answering it. It's a lie.
That's right.
And nobody will check him other than the president of France.
Yes, it is about time. I do hold out hope for the future in the EU with leaders such as Macron, Trudeau he's still not replaced, and he's still going to bat for Canada, especially under the thumbscrews of Trump. He's still bringing, not glory, but, bringing Canada's needs to the world and saying, if he's doing this, if he's willing to screw their best and longest and most loyal friend,
he'll screw anybody.
Then you're doomed.
Anything for money. And so Canada is a real cash grab.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister of England's there today, by the way.
Starmer? I think so.
Yeah, and Zelensky will be there tomorrow.
I don't know about the mineral deal.
I wouldn't.
I hope
he might have to do it, but you have to do it in the evil
how do you
frame.
do it? How do you do a deal with the devil?
Well, this is what's wrong, because Trump won't keep the deal.
No.
He won't keep the deal.
Neither would Russia.
Yeah.
So both of them are unreliable.
Yeah. So this is when the EU is really going to have to step up. And what do you do about, did I tell you about the whole jet fiasco last week?
Which jet?
Well, they were saying we're going to have to wait for another show. Let's talk about the jets.
Okay, is that the New York Jets?
The F-35s.
F-35s. Okay, there's more to talk about. This is just unpacking a week's worth of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We'll put a link to Lawrence O'Donnell. Rachel Maddow had a lot to say on MSNBC. MSNBC's going down. The mainstream media seems to be on its death throes. And it looks like people with private independent media might be the future. We shall see. Jim and Terry signing off for now.
Bye-bye.